Good morning. I'd like to welcome you to our live web event, Validate Your Omnichannel Business Case. My name is Laurie Palanza. I'm the Director of Marketing for OneView Commerce and your host for today's event. Thank you for joining us as we discuss how retailers are proving the value of their digital use cases using the OneView Digital Platform Trial Program. In today's agenda, we'll cover today's retail reality, the OmniCommerce transaction engine, see the solutions and experience trial use cases, executing a low-risk, high-reward platform trial, and we'll have a Q&A session and next steps. Our speakers today are Abhijit, our Chief Technology Officer, Steve, our Strategic Alliances Director, Chad, Head of Sales, and Todd Johnson, Business Development. The webinar is being recorded, and you will receive a link to the recording and a copy of the slides. We invite you to submit questions throughout the webinar in the Q&A box, and we will answer your questions following the presentation. Now I'll turn it over to Steve.
Thank you, Laurie. And good morning, everyone, and afternoon, potentially to some. We want to spend some time today to help you really define your own new reality. So what does that mean? What I'd say is all retailers are facing very similar challenges, no matter what vertical market their business is operating in. So the accelerated pace of change in retail over these last few years, and especially this year with the pandemic, is forcing them to meet their customer demands for new ways of engaging with them, or face the reality that this is going to lead to a loss in business and loyal customers to their competitors. So the question is, how do I deliver these new experiences with speed, agility, when I have certain components of my legacy technology stack that become barriers for delivering innovation? So we're going to spend the next, say, 25, 30 minutes providing some insights and options for delivering slices of innovation and a real iterative approach that can coexist with those legacy systems, but also provide you with a platform and foundation for delivering that next new customer experience. So I think as we've all seen, throughout the retail trade magazines, Kroger, Target, and Walmart have been leaders in innovation. So, many retailers started their digital transformation, 2 or 3 years ago, but digital adoption really exploded during the pandemic. I'd say what most analysts had projected for growth through 2025 is probably going to be achieved by the end of this current year. So, like I said, the digital pioneers like Kroger, Walmart, and Target, they've long been recognized as innovative leaders in retail. So they're seeing the outcome of years of test, learn, and deploy initiatives really start to pay off. They were able to quickly pivot and move to a more frictionless, contactless customer engagement during these last 8 months. We are very fortunate that Kroger had selected OneView Commerce headless platform to unlock a lot of their legacy constraints that a lot of retailers are facing out there, and provided them with that freedom to identify and imagine experiences that had meaningful impact on their business. Their IT teams were able to execute those experiences to meet really current business objectives. If we take a real quick look at some of the results of these efforts for these 3 companies this past year, Kroger seeing an increase in brand loyalty with 50% of their online business coming from competitors. That's pretty powerful. Walmart seeing similar results with 46 to 60% of their digital sales being incremental for new Walmart shoppers and really attracting those younger shoppers. And Target has really been doubling their digital sales year over year, which has accounted for an increase in their in-store sales as a kind of a ripple effect of that. So I love this slide because it really represents a lot of the challenges I was faced with before joining OneView Commerce. So I spent the last 30 plus years in retail technologies, with most of that time being spent in leadership positions on the retail side. So I think I'm really understand the challenges that retailers are facing today. Um, there have been a lot of investments made in back end, ERP, accounting, HR, loyalty, and e-commerce systems. But at store level in recent years, I'd say the majority of that capital investments have been made with EMV compliance and the expansion of self-checkout lanes. So I've sat through countless budget planning and approval sessions, and you've got people from different parts of the organization all fighting for that same bucket of money and trying to justify with why their initiatives need to be prioritized. So what ends up inevitably happening is, internal negotiations and discussions around the priorities of these initiatives. And the question always gets asked, can we sweat out another year out of some of these assets? So retailers have built up a lot of technology debt over the years, and that has now introduced some significant risk into their business. New customer demands are really the catalyst for change out there. But that decade-old legacy systems are really constraining retailers' ability to innovate and are blocking their ability to deliver and scale new customer experiences, which ultimately, I think, as those statistics proved, are going to lead customers to retailers that can meet their needs. So, a rapid iterative delivery approach to innovation is a real equalizer that will allow businesses to protect that market share and attract new customers. Our platform in next generation solution provide a common set of cloud services and the transaction engine to enable these services. We empower the retailer with tools to build customer experiences that matter most to them. Everyone's going to be a little different. So things like pick up at curb, right? That's got a lot of traction this year. Mobile line busting, self-service frictionless experiences. These are a common set of transaction services that the platform offers right out of the box. These aren't siloed applications like traditional legacy players offer, where you've got one application that drives your point of sale, you've got another application that drives your self-checkout lanes, you've got another application that drives your mobile solution. So this is all really, like I said, using the same common set of cloud services and the transaction engine to enable these services. So what we'd like to say is, we can help those retailers control and reduce their vendor dependency, which really promotes, speed and innovation. So with that, let me turn it over to Chad. It's going to take us through more details on how that omni-commerce transaction engine can help you take risk out of your business. Chad?
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate that. Good morning, everyone. Every time I hear Steve discuss the changes in retail, one word always comes to mind, and that's just shackles. I mean, we've all worked in retail IT for more years than we want to count, but I know we can all relate to the idea of how vendors will lock you into their version of customer engagement. And the retailers that are really changing this approach have latched on to defining digital innovation in a way that works for their business. And they've done that by finding the right partners. From inception, OneView has really strived to offer solutions to the market which deliver proven capabilities that truly assist retailers in how they want to deliver digital transformation. And we do this exactly by providing you total control over the way you want to digitally transform. Yes, we have the end tools that allow you to do that, but you're the one that's going to use an agile approach to truly, when engaging with us, to truly define what you want to do and how you want to do it, and to be able to modify that process before doing a complete and total rollout. And the great thing is this allows you to really maintain that relevance with yourself, I mean, as a retailer, and specifically with your customer. It's been really common during the pandemic for retailers to hand over engagement to a third party. And when you do that, you lose absolute control over your customer engagement and how it's going to work, and actually over that transaction itself. Our approach allows you to really maintain control over your engagement while delivering to your customers' needs and expectations. And we do that because we've created a transaction engine built from the ground up to reside in the cloud. And it's basically a very proven and cost-effective approach that we've seen our customer base receive great benefit.
As you've heard several people already say, Steve, and even Lori at the very beginning of the call, we've talked about our transaction engine. And so realistically, that's our secret sauce. It's the hub to what and how we actually deliver everything that we do for our customers. And no matter that omni-channel experience you're trying to attain, like last mile or managing your dark stores or new dark warehouses, we can help you achieve that. You determine that digital engagement, which supports how you run your business and how then you're going to deliver that exceptional customer experience. So let's dive a little bit deeper into what that transaction represents and how we actually are delivering this. Our platform delivers attainable solutions with minimal impact on your infrastructure and your business. Keep in mind, when I say infrastructure, I'm really referring to your legacy systems. So you're put back into control with the ability to innovate with regard to proven capabilities and really fast timelines. But how do we do this? We do this by taking advantage of our framework services and our API endpoints. You take that disadvantage of those legacy systems that you can't rip out and replace, and you make it into an advantage by utilizing the information that's there. And then you create a customer journey, which is going to be unique to your business itself. That UX front end gives you the flexibility to define how this operates, or with not only your end user that works for you in the stores, but also your customer. So I know we've done this a few times. Abhijit, do you have a moment? Can you just kind of address that real quickly, how some of our customers are using this today?
Sure, Charlie. I'm happy to elaborate that. So I can give a couple of examples here. In case of Kroger, way before COVID-19 started, they wanted to deliver a curbside pickup experience to their customers. And they were not able to deliver that on their legacy platform. It was very difficult. They use our cloud native platform, as Chad mentioned, all the APIs, API endpoints. They leveraged that and they delivered that experience to their customers. And way after COVID-19, they use the same foundation, same code base, and very easily they were able to deploy to their existing stores, dark stores, and fast forward, they are now adding other capabilities and experiences like a pay at curb ability to pay using the EBT and WIC. So iteratively, they will be able to deliver using this modern platform. Another example I can think of is Australia Post. They wanted to deliver a mobile point of sale to their associates, and they had a 20, 30-year-old system, and it was very difficult for them to build a modern mobile technology on that legacy platform. So using the same APIs framework, they delivered the mobile point of sale, and now they're working on delivering their next gen POS, they're replacing their legacy POS, but iteratively they are replacing that functionality actually. That's in a nutshell. I would like to highlight charts.
Cool, thanks, Abhijit. I appreciate that. So you've heard us all talk about this from a theoretical perspective. What I'm going to do now is hand it over to Brian Glick, our solutions consultant, and he's going to walk you through an example of our customer journey.
I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to run through the curbside pickup order lifecycle by expanding on the OVC picking service to include our transaction checkout process as well. So just to orient everyone to my screen, here you can see the OVC picking service app on the left and the OVC mobile POS on the right. So this process begins in the retailer's own application. So when the customer submits their order through the retailer, that information will then flow to OVC and populate here in the pick app. So here on the pick app, you can see 4 active orders. Well, the first 3 have been staged and are awaiting customer arrival. The 4th is ready to be picked. So we'll start here. So once opened, you'll see all of the order summary with customer details, as well as tasks remaining for this order. So we'll start the picking process here. When you start the picking process, you'll see the pick list populate with the items that you need to pick, as well as the quantities remaining. It's also important to note here that the mobile pause is live time updating with the statuses of this order so that all sales associates and employees are on the same page with where each order is. So with this, we'll start with the first item, the Cabot cheese. You can see that there are 2 remaining to be picked, as well as a variety of details to help identify that item. You can either scan or manually pick that item or mark it out of stock if it's unavailable. In this case, we'll assume that all are available and we'll manually pick them. So after going through all of the items that need to be picked, you'll be able to confirm that on the done column, seeing that every item has been picked. And if any mistakes were made, the employee can always cancel the pick and start again from the beginning of the pick. Assuming no mistakes were made, we'll move over to packing. And as you can see, this switched to a picked status, and now it's in the packing status. So here we have our first bag with the products. So we know we have milk and cheese in the order. So we'll stage this bag in the fridge. And we know additionally we have muffins, which are ambient, don't need to be stored in the fridge. So we'll leave this on the back shelf. Now that we have all of the items for the order contained in bags and staged in their respective areas, we can complete the packing phase. And this order is now staged and ready for customer arrival. So when the customer now pulls up to their spot and notifies the store that they're ready to pick up their order, the sales associate running the transactions can see on their mobile pause their order. It's staged and ready to go. They can open up that order. Here they can see the bags that were staged, as well as the details as to where they were staged. And then they can start the checkout process. So here in the checkout process, you can see each individual item has a variety of different options. You can manipulate the quantity of that order depending on if any items were added or subtracted to the order. For each item, you can also add discounts, void the item, or override the price. And then from the transaction level, you have the options of suspending this transaction, returning any items within this same transaction, voiding the entire transaction, editing customer details, adding transaction level discounts, quickly adding any products, and handling any substitutions that may be included in this order. So assuming that everything was satisfied and the customer is ready to check out, you can continue to the checkout phase. Here you can select any tender that you've integrated with, including Snap, WIC, and a variety of card payment services. We'll choose the online card payment service and charge that customer. And once that goes through, you'll be able to either print a receipt with an integrated printer or email the receipt using the customer details that were provided at the beginning of the process. So we'll confirm that this has been emailed, and now this transaction has been complete, fulfilling the entire transaction lifecycle. So with that, I will turn it back over to you, Abhijit.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for the quick demo. So you have seen now some visuals about that use case for curbside pickup and pay at curb. I'll talk briefly here about deconstructing the use case, like what's under the hood in this use case and what you'll be able to evaluate it. So the use case might be different for every retailer, but let's say in this use case, the pickup and pay at curb, while demonstrating the business value and feature and functions, like additionally on top of that business value, you'll be able to evaluate how the platform is architected. How is the feature as a service deployed and architected in OneView platform? And more importantly, you'll be able to see the headless power, like how you can control the customer experiences and build your unique experiences. We will train your developers, and you'll be able to see the power of the platform as well. Also, you can see the entire the infrastructure, like how it is built up ground up using the microservices architecture. You'll be able to validate that. So for this pickup and pay at curb use case, you can see that there are various components here we have in the use case. So the first component is about the orders, ability to capture the orders. And that is very well built into our platform. Like we will give our open APIs, like the documentation, where your e-commerce or your OMS application will be able to send the order to us, and we can cache that order, show it to your store associates. And that's where in a second stage preparation, like where Brian just showed us, like how you can do pick and pack, you can receive the order, stage the order. That's very all built in our platform. OneView provides all the APIs and then the out of the functions for this business function. In the handover, you can give this order and containers to a customer. We'll be able to even integrate with the location services. How can we identify that customer has arrived at your parking lot and then deliver those orders contactless to the customers? Also doing the adjustments like while doing the transaction, we being a system of record for transactions, like we'll be able to even handle the substitution. Customer can accept, reject the substitution, accept the paper coupons. That's very well handled in the platform. Paying at a curbside, like as retailers are evolving that customer experience, ability to pay at a curb using tender types like a SNAP, EBT, WIC, like it's very important, and that comes all out of the box, like with our payment integration, and you should be able to leverage that. And the last one is about the finalizing the order. We will create the transaction log. We will publish this transaction log to your backend ERP system. And that's the key thing, like not touching your legacy point of sale, because the moment you touch legacy point of sale, like that project gets dragged and it gets very difficult to integrate because of the technology and then how that is architected over the years. So that's where we will be able to help you for that T-log abstraction and then ability to give that T-log seamlessly to your backend systems. But those are the things out of the box with our API framework, we'll be able to give it to you. And Chad, I'll give it to you about defining your trial. I'm not sure your audio is still.
Yep.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, no, I make sure everyone can hear me. Thanks very much, Abhijit. So, the whole concept here is taking a trial approach. It's about planning, measuring, and then being able to transform out of that. Before, with any investment in technology, typically very little was proven up front. It was all on paper. RFP would document what was going on. Maybe you would get a vanilla system, but you really didn't understand the positive impact on your investment until full rollout. Our trial approach takes a different approach. It allows you to really explore your pain point quickly. And even though there are common themes across every retailer, like curbside pickup, our approach really allows you to, when you pull back the hood and understand your differentiators and what makes you different, allows you to test out that process. So it's fast, and it allows you to do this before you determine whether you want to do that long-term engagement. Steve?
Yeah, let me jump in here quickly, Chad. So yeah, some great points there. But every retailer, like we've said, has different challenges that might have prevented them from moving forward with various technology initiatives that involve how they interact with their customers. It could have been time, could have been cost, could have been complexity. I think what we can help you do is break down those barriers for entry and really build a business case and define real proof points and measured success criteria and deliver that value to your business in a very short period of time, with this trial engagement. And then, the great part about this is, once you have that first proof point, you've kind of built that foundation for taking that next step. So, we never promote a real rip and replace type of, strategy. It really is this iterative approach that, takes risk out of the business and allows you to deliver some great features and experiences to your customer.
So I'd like to jump in here and then talk a little bit about duration and resources and then how the process works. Naturally, like once you define your high value use case, which you are not able to deliver it with your legacy foundation, we will analyze that. And then for some customers, like we have done the platform trials, right, from 4 weeks to some customers like 16 weeks, based on your use cases, we will be able to define that duration and what kind of resources you will need it from your side, and deliver that use case iteratively, like during that trial period. Like we at OneView, like we follow the agile methodology and we have a 1 week sprint. So that means like you are measuring the performance of the trial like every week. You as a retailer define those success criterias and we measure those success criterias every week. And towards the end of the trial, like to build the use case, you can demonstrate this use case to your business stakeholders, your leadership team, and then see like how fast you are able to deliver this like in a short amount of time actually like and actually like on top of that like you can build the different use cases as you go forward.
Thanks, Abhijit. So let's talk a little bit about our approach here. It's a very simple 5-point trial that delivers fast and effective results and takes into consideration how you need to deliver a use case for your business. It's fast, it's affordable, and it's a proven approach that we've used time and time to engage with our customers. So you'd expect that first step to be a discovery phase. We need to understand what your pain point is and what your objectives are for any meeting. That second step we're going to actually see is really a trial blueprint. And out of this is work that we'll be doing in conjunction with your team. So it would be a mix of being something that would be done, led by OneView, but it'd be completely in collaboration with the key members of your team that understand this pain point and what you're trying to accomplish. And then what's going to go after that, we're going to provide you a pretty high-level outline of that resource planning. And what I mean by that is, of course, we're all going to be doing our other jobs as we're continuing this. We're going to help you to understand that sprint cadence, when you need to be involved, and the type of information that we're going to do. And after we've done all this, we start that trial. You heard Abhijit talk about 5 weeks earlier, 5 to 6 weeks, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. Once it's done, you're going to test out that use case. You're going to be able to understand its impact both positively and negatively on your business and possibly what would change. And at the end of that, you're going to get all this information that you can then take back to your executive team, all the data to prove out what needs to be done. So so what we're going to be doing next is, just keep in mind, is we're going to have a post-webinar email that's going to be sent out. And that's going to be your journey to start the discovery with us. And so the first step is just set up a calendar meeting with us directly, and we'll go from there. So I think now we have time for a few questions.
Thank you, Chad.
I'll hand it over. Yeah.
Thank you, Chad. I want to thank everyone for joining us. This last screen provides OneView contact information as well as a link to learn more about our solution. If you'd like to have a deeper discussion, please feel free to reach out to any of us in the meantime before we send out the email. We will now move to address the questions that you have queued up for us. A reminder, you can submit a question in the Q&A box now, if you'd like. The first question we have: how have other customers used outcomes from the trial to validate and build a foundation for digital transformation and next-gen commerce? Steve, if you could take this one, please.
Sure, Larry. That's a great question, right? I'll give you a couple of examples. Australia Post came to us looking for a mobile point of sale line busting solution. And in just 20 weeks, we were able to deliver that solution using the OneView platform that they rolled out to their entire estate of stores. And from there, they incorporated that feedback from the business to enhance the solution. And this really set the foundation for a multi-year project where they're delivering a next generation point of sale on their traditional lanes using our platform to replace that legacy system that I believe was somewhere in the vicinity of 30 years old. So it really just reinforces that value of kind of an iterative approach versus a rip and replace, and takes risk out of the whole process. Now with Kroger, they were a little bit different. Their first high value use case was around pick up at curb, and they had a partnership with Walgreens on a joint venture where customers could order online through the Kroger website and then pick up their groceries at a Walgreens store. So pretty interesting concept. Allowed them to kind of expand their footprint, their reach into geographical areas they didn't really have physical stores in. So it was pretty successful. We delivered that curbside pickup in 16 weeks. And they'd rolled this out to about 45 locations. And then the pandemic hit. So they put a pause on that strategy or that priority in because of the work they had done. They were able to quickly pivot and focus on deploying curbside across their retail estate, as well as their dock stores that they were using as micro fulfillment centers.
Yeah.
So like Australia Post, they set the foundation and had the agility to identify, kind of that high value use case. And pay at curb is really important to them to help, flush out some cost. And they're going to work their way back into the store to eventually replace their legacy point of sale. So.
Steve, one point I wanted to make, the AusPost line busting trial covered 80% of their store transactions in that
That's
first
right.
rollout, correct?
Yeah, they were trying to get to that. I'll call it an MVP one.
Yeah.
What's going to deliver the most value
Right.
quickly, knowing that it's they would have some additional work to do afterwards. But
Yeah.
I'd say from the retail side, way too many times we're trying to get everything 100% perfect versus trying
Well,
to get.
Yeah, and I think the important point is that they had, the next gen commerce transformation could then focus on the remaining 20%, but that I imagine was instrumental in improving value and enabling them to transition to the bigger project.
Correct.
Great. Okay, our next question. What are some examples of how OneView can accelerate my ability to deliver new experiences without impacting my legacy footprint? Abhijit, could you take this one?
Sure. Yeah. So this question, like, we get asked like every time, like, and touching the legacy system, like as we mentioned earlier, like it creates a lot of problems, like it derails your speed for innovation. And our approach is like we deploy our solutions side by side, like with your legacy platform, and we don't do any integration with your current point of sale. We produce our transaction, we being a system of record for transaction engine, we create a transaction log, we publish it to the backend system, and the backend system integrates that T-log. So that kind of this thing differentiate us, like not touching the legacy and delivering the value. Also, apart from the software, hardware is also key thing. Like our platform is a hardware and OS agnostic. So the same code base, you can run it on the legacy tills, like a Windows tills, and the same point of time, like you can deploy that solution on a mobility, like be it a Zebra's Android devices or self-checkout, like the same code base runs on a different hardware. So that's how like we get around the legacy footprint and then not touch to the legacy systems and deliver those business values faster.
Great, thanks, Abhijit. The next question, how involved are my team in the trial and what types of activities would we be doing? Abhijit, I think you could take this one again. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So your